topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Draw me close to you, never let me go, and lay it all down again, to hear you say that I'm a friend.
Good day. The Almighty Creator desires a deep personal relationship with you. My name is James Robertson. I'm a researcher, publisher, and teacher regarding the matters and truths of the Almighty Creator, whose true name is Yah, the eternally self-existing. I've been actively serving him since 1993, over 31 years. If you are not actively serving Yah, then by default you're serving Satan. My objective is how you can make a big difference on earth and qualify for a position of high esteem in heaven for eternity. It's important to understand that as a believer, just being good is not the point. It's relationship with Yah that counts. Without this, you will be in a very unpleasant place in heaven with no way out. My aim is to show you how to get close. If you're a good person without a clear relationship with Yah, then you're in a spiritual no man's land and will not enter heaven when you die. The Creator has said regarding unbelievers, why would I want someone to spend eternity with me when they do not believe I exist? Yah is calling everybody on the planet to be involved and serve him and help him to have victory over Satan. My goal is to show you how to do this. Fundamentally, we each need to learn to see things on earth from Yah's perspective, and my aim is to teach you how to do this. Please visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to make contact. Today we're going to look at service to Yah in search of excellence. The overview. I'm troubled by the extent to which many, probably most believers, give Yah, the Almighty Creator of the heavens and the earth, the remnants of their time and wealth. They seek excellence in their careers and in their home and family life, and then fob Yah off with a few hours and a few pounds or dollars or whatever currency once a week, if that. Yah is the mighty one of excellence. Consider the universe and all that is in it. The solar system, planet Earth, the plants, the animals, us human beings, each one precise, elegant, attractive, effective, an example of the excellence that Yah strives for in all that he does. I'll share a prayer with you if you realize that you've not been walking in excellence towards Yah, and we will look at the rewards for excellence of service in heaven. Finally, we will look at the state of your relationship with the Almighty Creator. So the first part of this broadcast is based on the article 2024-1004, Service to Yah in Search of Excellence. As I just said, he is the mighty one of excellence. Just consider the creation, everything around you. We strive for excellence in our societies. We strive for excellence in our cars, in our buildings. How many people strive for excellence in their relationship with the Creator? It's a challenge, folks. And I really ask you to step up to the plate and bat on this one. So my question is, why do so many give him less than best? Do you give him less than best? Do you know what best looks like? So I'm going to talk about that going forward. I want to stress that per se, I do not regard a fancy church building or mosque or synagogue or temple or other place of worship as really representing what I'm writing about here. It's easy to cop out and put some money in a collection plate or basket or whatever, and even give some time to the ministry. But I don't think that this is really excellence towards Yah. So what am I thinking of when I speak of in search of excellence towards Yah? Well, I'm going to go into that in a minute. But let's just check something out here. I dealt with this a few weeks ago, but I'm going to recap. Why are we here? Father created the entire universe, the solar system, planet Earth, the plants, the animals, and us for one reason and one reason alone: to have a relationship with us, an intelligent relationship with us. He went to great lengths to create intelligent, cognitive, aware beings with the ability to reason and deduce and create and invent. And then somehow he lost interest and limited his communication with us to one little book, whether that little book is the Torah or the Bible or the Quran or the whatever. I don't think so. Yah created us so that he could talk to us, reason with us, explain to us, help us, be involved in every aspect of our lives. That's what excellence in relationship with Yah looks like. Are you doing that? I'm going to stick my neck out and say I seriously doubt it, because he tells me that there's virtually nobody on the planet that's doing it. And it's pretty miserable and pretty pathetic that there's something like 5 billion Bibles on the planet and almost nobody speaking to Yah. It's tragic, folks. Put your Bible on one side, get on your knees and say, Father, I want to know you the way you want me to know you. Father, I want to know you the way Yahushua knew you. I want to know you the way James Robertson knows you, if you want to go for a lower standard. But set yourself a standard, folks, to hear Yah, converse with Yah, reason with Yah, engage with Yah, involve him. I suggest excellence includes excellence in allocation of time. Give Yah quality time every day. Time in worship, time in prayer, time in service. Not what you can squeeze in at the end of the day. What do you listen to when you wake in the morning? Worship songs or the news? Or some other secular music? I submit for your consideration that if you are not seriously spending at least an hour a day in worship, you're shortchanging Yah. If you're not spending at least an hour a day in committed communication, prayer has a connotation of kind of begging and pleading, and I'm talking about conversation. I'm talking about dialogue. I'm talking about walk down the street and say, Father, I've just seen those crocuses that are just opening up in the park over there. They're so beautiful. Thank you for your creation. Then excellence in allocation of finances. Give Yah quality finances, whether in expenditure relating to your own ministry or to a ministry you tithe to. Is your financial contribution to Yah the first call against your revenue, or what you give him if you manage to eke out a little for him at the end of the month or whatever your revenue cycle is. If your own ministry funded appropriately, at least 10% of your revenue before tax. If you do not have your own ministry, then tithe 10% of your revenue before tax to one or other ministries that you truly believe are doing Father's will. Folks, there's a lot of wrong thinking and wrong teaching around the prosperity gospel. Tithe is not a bribe to Father to give you wealth. A tithe is a contribution that you make towards the work of Father so that his interests can be advanced. It happens that he promises to bless you if you tithe. But you do not tithe for the blessings. You tithe so that he can be benefited, so that the work and the service to him can be advanced. Which means you need to find a ministry to tithe to that's free of error and ahead of you in terms of what they're doing. And that's not as easy as it might sound. And then excellence in worship. Is your worship sloppy with worship of Jesus and begging for favor and support? Or do you have a collection of carefully selected songs, such as those on the ETI website, that do not worship Jesus? Is your worship deep and intense? Do you make love to Father through your worship of him? Many years ago, a ministry in the south of Pretoria in South Africa was recommended to me. I'm talking about 2010. I was told that they had anointed worship. So I went. And one of the songs that they sung was, Jesus, do you know how much I love you? Do you have any idea what an abomination that is? Some years before that, I said, Father, I desire to know your heart. My experience as that song was being sung was beyond anger, grief, hurt. Jesus, Yeshua, Yahushua. Yah is salvation. Jesus is not salvation. Yah is salvation. Yeshua is a created being. Do you have any idea what an abomination it is to worship him? You're breaking the first commandment, the great commandment. Love Yah, the eternally self-existing, your mighty one, with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. Jesus, do you know how much I love you? Yeshua, Jesus said, worship Yah. He is the only one. What is so difficult to understand about that? And then excellence in communication. Do you communicate freely with Yah as your friend? Are you actively seeking to become his friend? Do you speak to Yah throughout the day, involving him in every facet of your life, asking his opinion on things? Or do you behave like a beggar, only coming to him when you want something? And before you tell me that you're his friend, there's only one basis on which I will believe you. And that is if you say to me with sincerity, hand on your heart, that Yah spoke to you clearly and said, you are my friend. Yah is by instinct friendly. So it's no big deal that he's your friend. It is a big deal to become his friend. Right now, there are no more than a few people on the planet who he calls friend. A friend is a person who sees the world through Yah's eyes. A friend is a person who can't stand to listen to worship of Jesus. A friend is a person who asks Yah for his opinion as to how they should cast their vote. A friend is a person who asks Yah what the outcome of the vote is that he desires, and if he has an opinion and he has a choice, who prays that into existence. That's what we're talking about here, folks. I'm not talking about some fluffy, stuffy God this and God that and God the other and God bless mommy and daddy and give me... No, I'm talking about an adult relationship with the creator of the heavens and the earth. And then excellence in service. What do you do in the way of service to Yah? Your own ministry? Participation in another ministry? Whatever you do it to the highest standard of excellence? Or do you just squeeze it in when you can? Do you make sacrifices to serve Yah? Do you carve out the Sabbath, Saturday, from sunrise Saturday to sunrise Sunday, and dedicate that day to Yah? Are you scrupulous about not doing anything secular on the Sabbath? That means no commerce, no house cleaning, housekeeping, tidying up, the things you didn't have time to do during the week. Have you any idea what sort of an insult that is to Yah? If you're doing it, if you're guilty, stop it. Or stop thinking about a high throne for eternity. It's time to change, folks. It's time for you to put Father first in your life. Or just accept you don't really care and you'll take whatever you get when you die. Then excellence in lifestyle. Does your lifestyle evidence your commitment to and your relationship with Yah? Are you actively and determinedly seeking to live free of sin? Have you sanctified yourself and set yourself apart to his service? Can others see the difference in you? You do not lie. You do not cheat. You do not steal. You do not engage in loose talk or loose behavior. And so on and so on and so on. Do you know the 10 Commandments off by heart? Do you know the true meaning of the 10 Commandments? Commandment 1. Yah the self-existing, Yah the Almighty self-existing is one mighty one. You shall have no other mighty ones before him. Yeshua, Jesus, is a mighty one. You shall not put Jesus before Yah. You shall not put the Bible before Yah. You shall not put the pastor before Yah. You shall not put the church before Yah. You shall not put the state before Yah. You shall put Yah first. Second commandment, have no idols. Take the Bible down off that pedestal, put it in the bookshelf. It's just another history book. It's got a little bit of anointing in it here and there, 2.5%, Father says. Take it off its pedestal. Stop worshipping it. Yah says it's the biggest idol on the planet. Over 5 billion Bibles printed. Why are there so many Bibles? Because Satan loves the Bible. It stops people seeking a relationship with Yah. The Bible's an important reference book, but that's where it stops, folks. And so it goes. No murder. No abortive contraceptives. Folk, life begins at the instant that that sperm meets that ovum and fertilization takes place, and a spirit enters that ovum, that embryo. Anything that destroys that from that second onward is murder. So if you have been having sex with a woman who has a loop or a coil or one of these other abortive devices, you're a murderer. If you're using abortive contraceptives, pills, you're a murderer. If you're talking about abortion before the first trimester, you're a murderer. So in conclusion, what standard of excellence are you applying? Let me start again. Whatever standard of excellence you apply to your secular life, you should apply that or better in your relationship with Yah. You may want to listen to the broadcast, Prayer on Realizing You've Neglected the Creator, Yah the Eternally Self-Existing, a few weeks ago. Here's a prayer if you recognize that you've been shortchanging Yah in any or all of these areas. Father Yah, I come to you and I confess that I've been shortchanging you in list the areas. I repent. I ask you to forgive me and help me to reprioritize my life to give you the place you deserve in my life. And then do what you find to do to get your life right. As an extension of a life of excellence, as an extension of a life which seeks to become a friend of Yah, let's look at the rewards. What follows is based on the article 2024-0804. You can sit on a high throne for eternity. I talked about this a few weeks ago, but I want to revisit it in the context of in search of excellence. In the previous broadcast, the only reason we exist to have a deep personal the only reason we exist is to have a deep personal relationship with the Almighty Creator and be His friend. I stressed that the reason the entire universe was created was for one reason only, because the Creator was lonely and wanted friends to talk to and share with. This is outlined in the above article, and there are a number of further articles on this topic on the website. Folks, if you have not got a fix on this, if you are not actively seeking to be one that Yah enjoys having on the planet, He is so lonely today, folks. He went to all this trouble to create this wonderful planet, these complex, beautiful human beings. And just about the entire planet ignores Him. And the few that don't totally ignore Him are so messed up and muddled up and worshipping their book and worshipping their prophet. Do you have any idea what it feels like to be on His side? So let me get off my hobby horse. On the other side, if you do what I'm talking about, if you give Yah excellence, what will He give you in return in the life to come? It turns out that there are ranks in heaven. So as an extension of this, depending on the extent to which a particular human being seeks to become a friend of the Creator, whose true name is Yah, as in Yah the Eternally Self-Existing, frequently transliterated as Yahuwah or Yahweh or Yahuwah or other derivatives, and incorrectly the Lord in capital letters, the higher the rank one will earn in heaven. Very few people understand this, and it's a big reason why people don't give excellence in their service and relationship with Yah, because they don't understand that there's actually a reward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that reward. The first step is to believe. The first step in this journey is to believe that Yah, the Almighty Creator, exists. As set out in the article and the broadcast, you really don't want to die as an unbeliever and become an ancestor spirit demon. And just on that one, if you listen to that, I've subsequently just come across a account of a guy who died and was not taken to heaven, but ended up as a demon, as a disembodied spirit. He was able to walk around, which I hadn't realized. I thought they had no motive power. That was my misunderstanding. But he was walking around. He could see that buried his body. He was saying, hey, don't bury my body, I'm alive. But they couldn't hear him. He could see and hear everything that was going on, but they couldn't hear him, the living people. You don't want to die as an unbeliever, folks. Listen to that. It's on the website. Then hell for unrepented sin. The first step of belief guarantees that you will enter heaven when you die, although you could spend significant time in hell if you don't clean up your act. See the article, Believers in Hell for Unrepented Sin. So, folks, I'm working on a progression here, and I'll go a little bit deeper as I go forward. Then the outer darkness. The next step is to actively engage with Yah in your day-to-day existence. If you do not do this and simply believe and then carry on as though Yah does not exist, you will end up in the outer darkness, a pitch black, cold, and unpleasant place outside the throne room in heaven with no way out, and where you will weep and wail and gnash your teeth for eternity at the foolish way you lived life on earth. I've spoken about this at length previously. I'm not going to dwell on it now because my message is in search of excellence. And then the throne room. From there, one can progress in rank in heaven from those who at some level were active in serving Yah, but never invited him to live in them, mostly because they did not know it was possible. That's a lot of traditional churches, much of Judaism, much of Islam, and other religions, through to those who are friends and sit on high thrones with massive spiritual authority and powers for eternity, for exceptional service on earth. See the article, The Demographics of the Kingdom of Yah in December 2015, which portrays relationship with Yah as a high, steep, and jagged mountain that is difficult to climb, but for which there are enormous rewards for those that succeed. And that image is the cover image for this broadcast. It's the cover image on the 15 books that I published in 2019. It's a core part of my teaching. You can be at the bottom of the mountain, you can be off the mountain, you can be at the top of the mountain. It's your choice. It's up to you. So I want to look at the throne room in the final quest. I've repeatedly cited the final quest. If you have not read the final quest, then I commend it to you. You can buy it on Amazon. There are various websites where you can either buy it as a PDF or listen to it. And in places, if you look a bit, you can find it for free. It's on the ETI website under the Bible page. Because why under the Bible page? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's as close to modern scripture, and I don't like that word, by the way, as you're likely to get. It's probably the most important book written after the book of Revelation. And in fact, I'd go so far as to suggest that for the most part, it's more important than the book of Revelation. So quoting from the Final Quest, chapter 5, my rendering, I've put in sentence numbers and divided it into sections. Jonah reports a conversation with someone in the rank of the foolish virgin. So we're now just into the throne room. Starting at sentence 222, and Jonah is talking to somebody who died before him. He didn't realize that he died. Looking at me intently, my former acquaintance continued. You're not here to just gain understanding, but to be experienced and be changed. The next level of rank here is many times greater than what we have. Each level after is that much greater than the previous one. It is not just that each level has an even more glorious spiritual body, but that each level is closer to the throne from where the glory comes. I really want that to sink in, folks. If you are a high achiever, step 1, I suggest you believe. Step 2, I suggest you make a real effort to serve Yah in this life. And that comes to all that I've talked about so far in this broadcast. And step 3, set your eyes on excellence. Set your eyes on a high throne. Because now you know it's possible. You, my friend, doesn't matter where you are, whether you're 10 years old or 90 years old. You can make a decision today to align yourself with Yah and seek excellence in your relationship with Him and aim to qualify for a high throne with a glorious spiritual body, great authority, great supernatural ability. Those who have had encounters with Yahushua, incorrectly called Jesus, think he's God because of his powerful supernatural body, his ability just to manifest in a locked room, his ability to be in any number of different places at once, his ability to speak any language. He achieved that by living without sin and overcoming to the end. You might not make it quite to that level because that's one place that's taken. But you can get close. The thrones on either side of him are still vacant. That's my goal, to sit next to Yeshua in heaven for eternity. I suggest it should be your goal too, because I might not just make it. I'm not the best example that you can find. Continuing, verse 671. When I was still not even halfway to the throne, what had been the indescribable glory of the first rank now seemed to be the outer darkness in comparison to the glory of those I was now passing. The greatest beauty on earth would not qualify to be found anywhere in heaven, and I was told that this room was just the threshold of realms indescribable. Hear this, folks. Not even halfway to the throne, and the people that he's met before, the foolish virgins, are now looking like the outer darkness because their glory is so pale in significance to halfway to the throne. So imagine what it's like when you get to the thrones and the thrones are terraced. Imagine what it's like at the top of the throne. I think that's worth going for. What do you think? You can potter along in this life, ignoring Yah, and end up in the outer darkness, or not even make it into heaven. Or you can go for it all out. And make it into the throne room, closer to the throne, or on the throne. Think about it. Verse 701, we're looking at chapter 5. At one point, the Lord, Yahushua, looked towards the galleries or thrones around him. Many were occupied, but many were empty. He then said, "These thrones are for the overcomers who've served me faithfully in every generation. My Father and I prepared them before the foundation of the world. Are you worthy to sit on one of these?" So I offer you that question. Are you worthy to sit on a throne in heaven for eternity? And I ask you to notice, many were occupied, but many were empty. Yah has been shortchanged by human beings right from the time that Adam ate the forbidden fruit. And it's not about the fruit, it's about the act of rebellion and disobedience that handed control on earth to Satan. The consequence is that there are a lot of empty seats in heaven. There are a lot of empty thrones in heaven. It's a huge opportunity for you and for me and for anybody that you meet to qualify for one of those thrones. What I've been sharing with you in search of excellence in service of Yah is precisely what you need to do in order to qualify for a high throne. And what I hope you notice is that it's actually not massively difficult. This article goes on to talk about the mountain of relationship. See the article, The Mountain of Relationship with Yah, which addresses various items relating to the demographics in 2021, and different views of the mountain of relationship with Yah, which discusses the fact that different religions have different views of the mountain of relationship. The article continues on the website. I'm just about out of time. I just want to wrap this up. I hope that you've heard me. I hope, folks, I'm going to say a couple of really harsh things. You're going to ask me, well, how do you know that? I know because I've been told. Yah's called me his friend. So I kind of know what's going on just to a little bit. I hope that I've rattled your cage today. I hope that I've given you a big wake-up call. And I hope that I've given you something to aim for that you didn't know that you had to aim for until you heard me tonight, or whenever you hear this broadcast. You can qualify to sit on a high throne in heaven for eternity with a glorious supernatural body, with massive authority and massive supernatural powers. If you decide to live your life in excellence towards Yah for the rest of your life. If you decide to make a real difference on the earth with the rest of your life. And I'm not talking about fluff and stuff and a few dollars in a plate for the new church building or the new synagogue or the new mosque or the new temple or whatever. I'm talking about getting to a place where you are filled with the Spirit of Yah. I'm talking about getting to a place where you are so anointed that you are healing the sick, raising the dead, walking on water and feeding the 5,000 from 3 loaves and 2 fish. Or whatever the exact numbers are. Doesn't matter. Some years ago, I heard that Yonggi Cho in South Korea had a congregation of, I think the number was 1 million. And every Sunday he would pray over the swimming bath and turn the swimming bath into wine so they could all take communion. It's possible. I met a lady in 2010, Lorraine Fisser, who'd raised 19 people from the dead, regularly healed the sick, performed miracles. If she misplaced something in the house, her relationship with Yah was so close that she would just say, Daddy, where did I put it? And he'd say, well, it's upstairs in the second drawer on the right. She had about 15,000 followers around the world who were tithing into her ministry at some level. She would go into a clothing shop and say, Daddy, I'd really like that dress. A couple of minutes later, and her phone would ring, and somebody just deposited that amount of money into her bank account. As I say, she'd raised 19 people from the dead. She'd translated. She was running late for a meeting. She left home 2 hours late, phoned ahead to say, I'm going to be 2 hours late. A bit of a mist came down. 5 minutes later, she arrived at the venue. Why aren't you doing that? You're the only reason that you're not doing it. Don't look left or right or front or back. I challenge you to go for it. Next week, we will look at the audience. Every human being on the planet, irrespective of religion, denomination, agnostic, atheist, Satanist. Yah wants everyone, folks. So forget this chosen race bit and all the stuff that goes with it. So I want to ask you, what is the state of your relationship with the Almighty Creator? I'd like to ask you to critically examine where you are relative to Him today. Do you talk to Him constantly throughout the day and allow Him to lead you in every possible way? Do you worship Him at every opportunity? Have you clearly and unambiguously heard Him call you friend? If not, you're failing in your life purpose and you'll be bitterly disappointed when you die. If you've now come to belief, please pray along the following lines. Father Yah, I come to you in the name of Yahushua. I now believe that you exist. I confess my sin of unbelief and repent of my unbelief, and I ask you to forgive my sin. I now commit my life to you, and I ask you to take me by the hand and lead me into deep relationship with you. I ask you to fill me with your Spirit and to change me and help me to become the person you want me to become. I ask you to help me find people who can help me and help me find books, websites, articles, and other resources that will help me. I ask you to show me what I can do to actively serve you and lead others to deep relationship with you. I thank you for saving me. There's a period of 8 days from sincerely coming to belief for the first time, during which there's extreme grace to help you. See the article, Critical Actions on First Belief, for actions you should take immediately. And then drop me an email on james@endtimeissueministries.org so that I can help you and pray with you and counsel you. In closing, thank you for listening. Please send me your questions to james@endtimeissueministries.org. Please email me to join the mailing list at james@endtimeissueministries.org. If you decide to draw close to the Almighty, please let me know, and I can connect with you by Skype, Zoom, Teams, email, or telephone so that I can help you with your journey. I hope to connect with you again next week when I will continue to explore how to become a friend of the Creator. Work with me to make a way for Yahushua to return in victory at the end of the millennium and make his enemies his footstool. I'm just about out of time, folks. If this is your first or second time on the channel, please stay on. I've got something I want to share with you. If you've been listening regularly, I'm going to greet in a moment. But I want to say to you, what I have just said applies to you, whether you're tall or short, thin or fat, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, whether you're Indian, African, Asian, Caucasian, European, American, Indian, whether you are Jewish or Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or Hindu or whatever, Satanist, atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter. It's there for you. The rules have changed. Father is looking for personal relationship above all else, not with your pastor, not with your church, not with your imam, not with your mosque, not with your rabbi, not with your synagogue, not with your priest, not with your temple, with you. It's over to you now. Good night. In closing, who am I? James Robertson. I have a doctorate in engineering and I'm a retired military commander. I now work as a management consultant. I have over 31 years' experience of actively seeking to draw close to the Almighty, following a dramatic encounter with him on the 12th of March 1993, when he spoke to me audibly in a locked room, and I knew for certain that he was real. In learning about Father, I applied my deep-seated aversion to failure born out of an accident in early childhood, coupled to my engineering and military training of rigor and preventing failure, to my seeking of knowledge about Father. This journey led to numerous supernatural experiences, prayers answered, and clear communication with the Creator. It forms the basis for what I teach in these programs. See the video, Why Seek Relationship, for an overview of what I believe. Please visit my website, www.endtimeissueministries.org, for a lot more information. There's over 7 man-years of effort that's gone into the content there. The ETI version of the Bible with correction of key translation errors is on the ETI Bible version page. For recordings of nearly all of the teachings broadcast so far, search on Google for Relationship with Creator Radio. They're also on the website. Look at the transcripts of broadcast page for transcripts and links to the recordings. Books with teachings from 1998 till May 2019 are at the Books for Printing page. I publish regular email articles. Email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to be added to the mailing list, or to seek counsel or prayer or give me feedback. Visit the website and use the Google search, article keyword cloud, table of contents, and article search to locate the information you're looking for. There's a huge wealth of information there, folks. I encourage you to make use of it. So that's all for now. I hope to see you again next week. Good night.
Father, I come to you, lifting up my hands. By your grace I stand, just because you love me. I know your favor.
Hi, I'm James Robertson. I want to ask you whether you understand that there are measures of excellence in your relationship with the Almighty Creator. If you are not certain, then please listen to my broadcast on w4cy.com internet radio or on talk4tv.com internet TV. Also visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to find out more. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.